Hey everyone, welcome back here on my channel. This is Coach J. And right now, meron tayong bagong session sa ating podcast. And sa session na to, we're going to talk about on media buying, Facebook ads, and specific paano kayo magle-level up sa skills pagdating sa advertising. So, before we start in our podcast, kailangan magpapakilala muna yung ating guest. So, siya yung magpapakilala sa inyo. And hindi ko na hahabaan ng introduction ko. And yun, let's do this. Brother, thank you so much for your time. Paano ka nagsimula sa ginagawa mo, and ano ka before? Estudyante ka ba? Working ka ba? Or ano yung background do para may idea yung mga viewers natin?
Thank you. Again, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure, no? By the way, I am John Cornwell. You can call me John, or some people call me Coach John.
Coach John, yeah.
It all started 2020. It was actually during the pandemic. I was a second year student that time.
Nice. Anong course mo?
I started management kasi, BS management. And then, that time, I was an accountancy student because I shifted. So,
Parang ang layo, no? Sa ginagawa mo ngayon.
hindi naman actually because it's business related din. But accountancy is more of like finance, finance. And then, that time, was just, siguro, masabi ko, bored ako that time sa bahay. So I was wondering if, how can I, siguro, have some side hustles. Medyo sanay na din ako sa side hustles dati pa because even in senior high school, I did not come from a, privileged family, I would say. So, poor talaga yung background namin, and I needed to do some side hustles when I was in senior high school. So, natuturo ako nun sa mga bata as a tutor. So, medyo asana na siguro sa pagtuturo ng mga makukulit. So, nung pandemic, what I figured at yung first na na-discover ko is yung online tutoring. And then, doon ko natutunan yung, really, I can earn pala money online.
Yes.
And so, siguro hindi ako nagtagal sa online tutoring, bro, kasi mga batang Chinese. medyo hindi ako patient that time. So, what I did, I still searched for other options na pwedeng makatulong sa akin to earn online. And then I discovered yung freelancing, specifically virtual assistant. So that's where I really started. Yung first client ko was based in the US, $3 per hour. Imagine, I started with $3 per hour. Tapos there, yung client na yun mismo, doon ako nagka-experience ng Facebook ads. Kasi, syempre, as a virtual assistant, ang dami mong pagdadaanan. Syempre, tinulungan ko siya sa website, sa graphic design, sa social media management. And then, dumating kami sa point na kailangan niya ng mga leads. And then, nag-research ako. Then, nag-propose ako sa kanya, maybe we can try run Facebook ads. Aminado naman ako, hindi ako expert sa Facebook ads, pero try natin. And then, dahil doon, I had experience with Facebook ads first time. Dati, naka-experience naman ako, pero boost post lang. That time, sa ads manager ko, talaga pinilit ko sarili ko na matuto for that client. And then, it was just shocking kasi in my first time, nagkaroon kami ng 1,000 plus leads in just 7 days. 1 week of running. And yung budget namin doon, that's US-based eh. Budget namin doon was just $20 per day.
In peso, 1,000.
Oh, 1,000 pesos per day lang. For context, digital agency yung sa kanya. So, yung mga tinatarget niya is mga small business owners. So, yung mga aspiring din. So, yun yung first time ko with Facebook ads. Tapos, na-figure out ko afterwards, na sige nga, try ko nga mag-specialize. Kasi naririnig ko nun na kailangan mag-specialize to ask more from clients, earn more. And so, what I did, I offered basically, brinoden ko lang ng konti, social media marketing specific to Facebook ads. And so, nagkaroon ako ng mga local clients. It all started with a friend also na merong small business. And then, actually, I don't think so. Baka parang naging lucky lang siguro ako for a while na parang sinasabi ng tadhana, dito ka talaga. Kasi halos lahat ng mga first clients ko, very profitable talaga kami that time. Siguro, one of the reasons is hindi pa maraming nag-ads noon that time. Or,
yun yung time na ang daming advertiser. Marami ring mga business na talagang pinasok yung online. Tingin ko, marami na nung time na yon.
Yeah. I mean, narinig ko na din naman yung Facebook ads dati pa. Pero, that time, siguro, marami, pero siguro hindi marami yung gamit talaga yung ads manager, yung boost po. Oo. Yes, exactly.
Nakwento ko nga sa'yo kanina, di ba, meron akong mga clients, students na nagawa ng workshop. Nakakatuwa, first time nila na marinig yung ads manager, gamitin yung ads manager. Ang tagal na nilang nag-ads on Facebook. So, marami talaga na nag-ads na pero hindi nila alam yung proper way kung paano nila i-utilize yung Facebook ads. So, yun yung goal namin dito sa ating podcast is magkaroon kayo ng overview, yung big picture, and ma-educate namin kayo how you can monetize and maximize yung Facebook ads sa panahon natin ngayon. Meron ako nabasang article, bro. Nabasa ng boy yan na ang Facebook users daw is 3 billion na as of now.
Alam ko 2 billion yun.
2 point something. Pero naabot na nila yung 3 billion. So, ibig sabihin, still growing yung platform ng Facebook ads. Kaya, the potential is great. Kaya, kailangan nating aralin at sabayan yung Facebook ads. So, yun yung journey mo.
Yes. And then, after that, ano lang naman parang lahat talaga parang naging aligned and then, when I was serving local clients na maganda yung result, parang naisip ko, what if I build my own? Parang, say, I help them earn money. Specifically, I help them become millionaires yung mga clients ko online, tapos local. So, nag-isip ako, what if I build my own? Tapos yung inisip ko nun is, if I build my own, may living portfolio ako. Na parang, I could say to my future clients, I built my own business. Tapos, kumbaga, ito yung proof ko na effective yung ginagawa ko with Facebook and TikTok ads. So, that time, ginawa ko. Siguro, hindi ako 1 year from freelancing. Nag-try ako na mag-start ng business. Ito yung Bakas Apparel. It's a social enterprise on mental health. So, ako kasi may background ako with, social issues. So, mahilig ako nung high school ako, very active ako with scouting. So, medyo maalam ako sa mga service projects, ganun. So, parang, kinumbine ko lang yung passion na yun na I want to help solve social issues. At the same time, I want to use my marketing and creative skills and pinaghalo ko. So yun, kaya ako nag-build ng social enterprise with the aim of promoting mental health awareness here in the Philippines. So yun yung parang siguro uniqueness niya kaysa dun sa ibang businesses because it solves social issue at the same time.
Kamusta yung naging progress or kamusta na yung business mo na yun?
It's good. Actually, in our we launched it in January of 2021. I started freelancing nung pagkatapos ng pandemic, siguro that was March ba yun na wala nang pasok? March 2020. So, hindi lang talaga 1 year and then I tried it. Tapos, it went well. Actually, in our first 6 months, we already gained our first 7-figure revenue. First 6 months. And then, that hindi pa 1 year, we attempted to have our own physical store. Pero, long story short, hindi namin pinagpatuloy yun. And then, we moved here in Manila. That's why I'm here in Manila talking to you.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So, online na siya ngayon. Okay, online. Good. Anyway, dun sa journey mo, ang bilis, bro, nakikita ko. From 2022, nag-start ka sa ginagawa mo as a virtual assistant, right? Then, pinasok mo yung media buying. Parang wala pang 2 years, na?
No. Nag-start ako 2020.
2020.
Yes. So, parang, kung pagpantayin natin, siguro, 3 years, mag-almost 4.
Okay, mag-almost 4 years na rin. So, not bad, no? Yung experience. Kasi I started ako 2016. Yung naalala ko, 2015. Yung unang experience ko na mag-launch ng ads. And ano ba yung pakiramdam kapag first time gagawin yung ads? Di ba iba, no? Parang kakaiba to Parang, something new. And then, dahil wala nga akong idea how it works, paano ginagawa yung ads, nag-apply ako ng cash card ba before kasi wala naman ng credit card noon that time, debit, wala din. So, nag-apply ako ng cash card para magamit ko sa ads ko. Then, nung kinili ko yung publish, na-set up ko na yung targeting, ayan, ang campaign and ads. Pag-click ko ng publish, after lang, minuto lang, ni-refresh ko, meron ako nakita. Ang sabi doon, your account is restricted. First time, yun yung experience ko. Because, hindi siguro sa akin yung Facebook ads, ganito. So, 2016, binalikan ko na lang siya mga 2017 na. So, 2 taon yung nasayang na time na sana inaral ko pa siya. And tingin ko marami nakaka-experience nun. Yung excited sila sa ginagawa nila, excited sila i-boost, i-ads yung anumang services or product yung meron sila. Pero kapag na-experience na nila yung mga restrictions, yung mga disable ad account, any other issue dun sa sa ads nila, nag-stop sila. 'Di ba? And tingin ko sa mga students mo, marami ring mga na-experience na ganyan na mga challenges. Pero bago tayo magpunta doon, ano yung mga best practices na i-share natin sa kanila? Okay? So pag-usapan muna natin, ano ba yung para may idea sila kung papasukan mo yung Facebook ads media buyer, ano ba yung role mo as a Facebook ads media buyer?
So actually, pag sinabi mong media buyer, it's really a broad term, no? Kasi it can include na, pwede ka maging media buyer, tapos yung trabaho mo mga billboards. Pwedeng ganun. Pero kaya we need, kasi minsan na pag ngayon sa freelancing world, kahit sa online, parang sinabing media buyer, automatic Facebook ads. Pero pag sinabi mo lang kasing media buyer, medyo kulang kasi yung term na yun. So that's why maganda na nilagyan mo talaga ng Facebook ads na media buyer specific. Pwede kang media buyer ng television ads. Pwede kang ganun. Pero we're talking here about Facebook ads media buyer or kahit sa TikTok naman. So basically parang hindi ko lang ginagamit yung term na to, parang social media buyer, parang ganun. So yung media buyer basically is you help with setting up, making sure na nai-implement yung mga ads na gusto ng particular business or maybe ng client or ng company mo. Kasi pwede naman maging media buyer ka ng particular company as a full-time media buyer. Pwede naman ganun eh.
Yes.
Basically, yung role mo is to set up, tapos make sure na yung bidding and yung setup na yung pasok yung budget ng ads dun sa pinibid mo for the platform. So yun yung ginagawa ng media buyers.
Yes.
In simple or in layman's term, basically you set up, you manage, and then you analyze, and then you optimize the ads for a particular business. Now, iba-iba yung setup kasi dun eh. Again, pwede kang maging full-time or pwede kang maging natawag mo na freelance media buyer. So that one, pwede kang magkaroon ng clients na as a freelancer. So any business, tapos third-party contractor.
Yeah.
Freelancer. Yeah.
Nice. So, magandang opportunity siya. Kahit na working ka, abroad or local, or meron kang existing business, kung gusto mo ng konting side hustle, may extra time ka, sa akin advantage na talagang pasukin mo yung as a freelance sa simula. Kasi, kagaya ng experience mo, dahil dun sa client mo na yon, sa boss mo na yon, nagkaroon ka ng opportunity na pasukin yung media buying, specific sa Facebook ads. So tingin ko, advantage yun na parang itetest mo or magigain ka ng skills dun sa mga client mo. Para kapag nag-offer ka na, di ba, sa ibang tao, mas malaki na yung portfolio mo, marami ka na experience, and then once in-apply mo siya sa own business mo, parang minimal na lang yung testing. Kasi alam mo na what's next yung gagawin mo. Meron ka ng data. Good. Okay. Sige, nabanggit mo kanina, sabi mo na rin kung paano mag-execute. Parang inano mo na yon. So, skip na lang natin to. Okay. So, dito, para maging successful ka sa industry ng media buying, okay, TikTok, Facebook, or Google Ads, okay, ano yung mga dapat na, let's say, a training, tools, or community na kailangan mong i-consider para mas updated ka dun sa mga walang katapusan na mga changes ng mga platform na to. Like Facebook, di ba? Sabi ng iba, every minute yata may bago sa Facebook sa algorithm. So, mahirap. Pero ano yung ginagamit mo? Let's say, a tool or a framework para ano man yung mangyari, magkaroon ng maraming changes sa mga platform na to, is ikaw pa rin may control. Okay? At hindi mo mabibigyan or hindi ko naman sinasabi na assurance or guarantee na yung client mo is magiging successful. Pero chances kapag ito is ina-apply mo dyan sa mga existing clients mo or sa mga bagong clients mo is mataas yung chance na mag-succeed sila or magkaroon ng resulta dun sa ino-offer mo.
Well, personally, when I was starting out, yung resources ko talaga, medyo, I would say, anong bang term na yun? Hindi ako mahilig sa mga paid online courses medyo matipid ako. So yung ginawa ko is sa YouTube lang, honestly. Yung main resource ko is just Benhi sa YouTube actually. And then another one is yung Blueprint. If you have the course, na meron mismo si Facebook. Yes, kompleto siya actually. So, yung point ko lang is actually, there are a lot of free resources online, especially for those who are starting out. And actually, yan yung reason ko din kung bakit ako mismo gumagawa ako ng content sa YouTube. Free tutorial, like you don't have to pay anything. You just have to watch it. Yeah, may gusto kong i-insert. Yeah. Kasi before ako gumawa ng tutorial ko, while I am doing media buying, yung content mo lang sa YouTube yung nakita kong Tagalog. Yeah, and actually, it's one of, dinownload ko pa nga siguro yun when I was learning. So, thank you so much. When I was starting out, helpful talaga content mo. And so yun, yun talaga ako nagsettle sa mga free resources. And then, more siguro, one thing na always kong inaabangan sa email ko is meron akong yung Facebook business partner na newsletter. So, nag-sign up ako doon kasi that's free. Na pwede kang ma-update nila kung merong mga changes with advertising rules or policies or may mga trends na kailangan mong i-test din also with your ads. So yun, that's one. Yung newsletter, again, that's free. Ako din, personally, meron din ako newsletter, weekly newsletter na nire-release ko din. Pero hindi naman lahat about Facebook ads dun So, dun talaga ako nagde-depend dun sa newsletter ng mismong Meta right now. And even I'm not sure with TikTok kung meron silang ganun. Pero, ginagawa ko na lang is, fina-follow ko or nilalike ko yung mga, meron silang specific accounts Like, for example, Facebook business or Meta business, fina-follow ko yun or like sa Facebook. Kasi kung meron silang mga updates, nagpo-post din sila. So yun, I always keep myself updated with that aside from sa ibang creators na pinapanood ko.
When it comes sa mga tools, anong masasabi mo doon? Yeah,
ako, there are other media buyers na iba yung mindset Like, sa iba, ayaw nila na sila yung gumagawa ng ads for clients, like the creatives. Ako personally, I would like to gusto ko meron akong creative freedom whenever I serve a client. So, yun na ba yung creative freedom? Like, gusto ko, ako mismo yung nakaka-plan or I can propose to the client, ano yung gagawin nating photo, ano yung gagawin nating video ads. So, ako personally, ginagamit ko lang naman Canva. Canva, which you can use actually for free. Canva, CapCut. Kasi, again, gusto ko yung may control ako with creatives. There are also others na media buyers na ayaw ng ganun. Gusto lang nila set up lang sila, manage. Wala namang masama doon. Pero sa akin kasi, I can offer more value to the client. Kung hindi na si client yung nag-edit ng video ads, hindi ko na siya sasabihan na, sige, edit mo to, gawin mo tong video ads, diba? Tapos ako na lang mag-set up. Ayoko nun. Gusto ko, ako na mismo halos lahat. As another one, na right now, very helpful, syempre, alam naman natin lahat, si ChatGPT. Grabe yung help niya when it comes to copywriting and also, kung minsan nagkaka-mental block tayo kung ano pang klaseng ads yung pwede nating i-test. So, ngayon, nagagawa, very helpful talaga si ChatGPT. Lalo na, I'm operating as a one-person business right now. So, wala akong, minsan siguro, meron akong nag-hire ako minsan ng freelancer, pero most of the time, it's just me. So, gamit talaga yung mga tools na yan.
You can start nang nag-iisa ka as a freelance media buyer or kahit media buyer ka na talaga. Nice, ganda. Eto bro, di ba ngayon, pataas ng pataas yung meron ako inatinanda ito. Isang event yon and meron nabanggit dun sa event na yun na hindi ko makakalimutan na kung mag-a-ads ka, huwag mong sayangin yung advertising budget mo dun lang para sa ads. And ang sabi niyo doon, kung mag-a-ads ka, make sure na yung data dun sa ads mo is nakukuha mo. So ano masasabi mo dun do? Gaano ka-importante ang data when it comes sa Facebook ads or sa mga platform na kung saan ka man nagpa-publish ng ads mo? Bakit mahalaga na nakukuha mo yung data?
Well, for one, we don't own the platform. Hindi tayo nagmamayari ng platform. So, for example, if we're running ads on Facebook or sa TikTok, yung data na yan, viewable sa atin, lalo na kung set up natin ng maayos yung analytics. Pero, yung pag-retarget sa kanila, ganon, you can still do that within the platform. Pero, worst comes to worst, posible yung account natin, para nang experience mo, ma-restrict. Or, siguro maban tayo from advertising. I mean, those are just worst case scenario. That's why tayo naman, pag nasa business tayo, it's best to assume the worst case scenario and make sure na kung umabot man tayo doon, meron tayong contingency na tinatawag. So yung pwede natin gawin para ma-reach out pa rin natin yung mga customers natin or mga consumers natin even outside the platform. Yung maganda pa doon, may control na tayo with the data. So that's why for many businesses, kahit sa mga clients ko, I always encourage them na, for example, run tayo ng lead gen campaign. Kasi para makuha natin yung contact details, contact info ng mga customers natin. And hindi naman ako email marketer, but I'm really promoting this. Kasi kahit media buyer ako, I always believe na may background ako sa digital marketing. And I believe na lahat ng nasa digital marketing na mga, kumbaga mga elements to Facebook ads is just one thing. Pag sinabi mong marketing, kung gusto mo talaga na mas maging sustainable yung business, it's best to build your email list. Yan talaga yung akin. Kasi sa email, if you will pay for subscription for email marketing, bro, that's just ilan? 1,000. Minsan nga may 500 pesos pa or below per month. That's just very,
May mga free din.
Yeah, may mga libre din.
Libre din.
If you're just, din.
Also, hindi lang email ang dapat kinukuha nila, including the phone number. Kasi kung itatry mo talaga na mas ma-scale pa ang business mo, isa sa pinaka-effective na natry ko and sinusubukan din ng mga clients ko, students, is yung telesales or yung telemarketing. So, hindi lang email, parang omnipresence, meron kang retargeting on ads, sinahabol sila, bumili ka na, ito yung discount, kayo po, di ba? Also, meron ka sa email, plus meron kang telesales. So, kumbaga, doon ka magiging ngayon, parang, okay, siguro, ano man yung mangyari mo, wala man si Facebook tomorrow, okay lang ako kasi nga, meron akong data.
Ang ganda nung sinabi mong omnipresence, no? That's nice. Ba yung pinaka-point doon is for you to be always top of the mind ni customer. Kasi, right now, it takes so much time para mapabili yung isang tao. Hindi na ngayon, yes, may process tayo na, kumbaga hindi, sa ngayon sa dami ba naman ng competitors natin in the market and also sa dami ng other shops na pwedeng pagbilhan ng mga tao. Ngayon yung mga customers is very meticulous na, no, sa pagbili. That's why we always have to, hindi naman always nang parang makulit na mag-contact sila, but top of the mind, na parang from time to time nakikita tayo nila para kung hindi sila nakakabili ngayon, they can buy in the future kasi ikaw yung alam nilang authority on that part, di ba?
Yung mga big businesses like sa TV commercial, talaga nag-invest sila ng malaking budget. Like, di ba, yung mga kids, di ba, mga bata pa lang. Tapos parang tinatatak na sa kanila kapag chicken, automatic, Jollibee ang naiisip ng bata. So, paglaki niya, lagi sa nasa Jollibee. So, imagine niyo guys, ilang retargeting ang ginawa ng Jollibee or magkano yung budget na ininvest niya para maitatak sa bata na yung chicken is Jollibee. Parang ganon. So, good point na dapat meron tayong other ways na ma-retarget, ma-follow up sila, makapag-connect ulit dun sa natin. Kung sa kang aspiring media buyer, kailangan isa yun sa mga i-consider mo at pwede mo yung i-recommend sa client mo. So, hindi ka lang ngayon nakarely sa Facebook ads, pwede ka pang mag-offer ng other services like email marketing services, telesales services. So, lumalaki yung opportunity. So, ayun, puntahan natin yung opportunity, bro. Ano yung mga opportunities na nakikita mo or give you some insights when it comes sa Facebook ads media buying or in a whole sa media buying? Ano yung mga opportunities na nakikita mo?
Ako, personally, yung mga opportunities na yan, I would say I have already maximized them all. Sa akin, pag may alam ka na when it comes sa Facebook advertising or generally social media advertising, meron kang tatlong entrances or mga main opportunities. Number one, syempre, is to serve clients, serve businesses, which is actually pwede ka makapagsimula ng kahit wala kang pera. Basta as long as you have the equipment lang, right? You can start with even with zero money. Again, kasi may mga free resources eh. And I would say this is the recommended way for you to start. Another one is you will apply that on your own business, which I also did. So you will apply that also with your own business para naman meron kang living portfolio. Tapos, always ka updated. Kahit mawalan ka ng client, still, you're still running ads. Updated ka pa rin sa mga nangyayari with the advertising industry. Another thing is you can also teach others how to do this. Which is just like what we're doing. We have consultancy services, yung nagko-coach din tayo ng iba. Kasi, I would say this is, talaga, hindi na to excuse. Kasi, it's through teaching that we learn better. No? Pag tinuturo natin sa iba, dun siya mas nare-retain sa atin. Yun yung rationale ko bakit nag-start ako with content creation. Kasi somehow there, aside na nakaka-encounter ako, nakakatulong ako ng ibang tao, mas na-master ko yung mga ways and processes and systems kasi tinuturo ko siya sa iba. So yun yung 3 main opportunities for me. Meron pa ba akong nakalimutan?
Yun din sa akin, kung ako magsi-start ako from the scratch, hindi ako magja-jump na siguro kailangan ko maging a coach or a guru para magturo ka agad. So, i-apply ko muna, magsisimula sa akin. And isa rin sa pwede nilang gawin, you can offer free services kung talagang gusto mo makakuha ng client. And let's say, yung trial, let's say 2 weeks or 1 month trial para ma-master mo yung skills. Pero kung tingin ko hindi ka mawawala ng client, ang daming SMEs, I think dito sa atin local, 100 to 200,000 SMEs. Ang dami. And ang media buyer dito sa atin is sobrang konti lang.
Okay, maniwala sa sabihin na marami ng media buyers, hindi ka na magkakaroon ng client.
Yeah, and hindi mo kailangan ng maraming client para maging media buyer ka. Let's 1 to 2 clients lang per month. Good na yon, di ba? Nice. Ngayon bro, proceed tayo dun sa di ba meron kang coaching na ginagawa and meron ka ring community. So, ano yung bigyan mo kami ng idea kung gusto nilang matuto, paano pasukin yung media buying, gusto nilang mas maasa pa yung skills nila, mag-level up pa yung skills nila. Bigyan sila ng parang yung basic steps na kailangan nilang gawin para masimulan nila yung ginagawa mo at tinuturo mo dun sa community mo.
Yeah. Well, I have my free community. It's called Ad Society. So it's a Facebook group wherein sometimes I do live webinars na free. So tinuturo ko din doon, minsan sinishare ko din doon yung mga updates din ni Facebook ads saka ni TikTok ads na din. Aside from that, meron din akong YouTube channel, TikTok, medyo doon ako mas active. And then, when it comes to starting out naman for some, no, especially bro, sa mga media buyers?
Yeah, siguro specific sa mga freelance media buyers. Yeah.
Ako personally, I teach yung tinatawag kong freelancing. Although this particular framework naman is, hindi naman bago. Parang katunog lang. It's my way of somehow building my own system and reminding me kung ano ba yung kailangan kong always implement so I can make this business sustainable. So, syempre naman, pag yun yung first mindset siguro na i-share ko sa inyo, pag nag-freelance ka, think of it as a business. It's not something na you're employed to another person, di ba? It's really a business. So that's why we need to build systems, we need to build processes. It's like what this, yung i-share ko sa inyong framework, yung ginawa ko, is simple lang naman eh. Yung freelancing, 3 major steps. Yung LCS, look for clients, and then close clients, and then serve the clients. And actually, hindi to isang proseso lang. Actually, it's a cycle, I would say. Kasi you need to make that a cycle for you to build a sustainable business. Ibig sabihin, kahit nagsaserve ka na ng clients, you still need to look for clients. Because worst comes to worst, hindi naman natin may iwasan yon. some clients will not choose to renew. Diba? That's why, ganoon naman sa freelancing eh. Diba? Kailangan talaga na meron kang sustainable na lead generation na effort para ma-continue mo yung business. So yung LCS, again, looking, closing, tapos serving. So looking, papag-usapan na ba natin yung details? Yeah, makahanap. Oo. Pero siguro i-emphasize ko lang. Sa LCS, nauuna yung looking kesa dun sa serving. Pero for beginners, it's very important for you to learn the skill first. So, hindi ibig sabihin na yung looking sa simula for beginners, ha? Kailangan nyo muna matutunan yung skills. Hindi yung maghahanap kayo ng client na hindi nyo pa alam.
Nung may client ka na, what's next? Hindi mo alam ang gagawin.
Kaya cycle siya. Pwede nyong unahin yung S. Okay? So, serving. Learn how to serve. So, paano ba yun? Siyempre, kailangan mo matutunan paano mag-run ng Facebook ads, ng TikTok ads properly. Again, there's a lot of free resources online, including my YouTube channel. Pwede nyong puntahan. Kahit si Jay, ang dami niyang resources online na free. Diba? So, sa looking, kung pupunta dahil dun sa looking, it's all about, ako, dalawa lang yung, sub-points ko dyan sa looking na yan. You need to learn the inbound and outbound approaches. So, yung outbound, unahin natin yung outbound, basically, maghahanap ka actively, aggressively actually minsan. Kasi you need to reach out to business na potential mong maging clients. So, yun yung outbound. You will be reaching out. Inbound, I would say, ito yung pinaka mas nakatulong sa akin. Kasi, it's when I started creating content and helping people, providing value for free online, na nagkaroon ako ng sustainable lead generation na effort. Na halos everyday, may magme-message sa akin, magtatanong about my service. So, I would say, do both. Instead of just reaching out, may mga kasi nagkakalat online na cold outreach email script that will gain you a lot of clients. Pwede mo naman i-apply. Pero that's why I would recommend also, katulad ng ginagawa natin, we're providing people value for free online because that's how you build trust and authority. That's why ako, sa akin, I always put yung extra time ko, gumagawa ako ng content, nag-share ako ng insights sa TikTok o kung saan man, para makita din ng client kung how I work. Diba? Sinishare ko yung work ko at sinishare ko din yung mga values ko para somehow makikita na din ako online. Kasi yung sinasabi, diba, na yung online content mo daw, it's your modern resume. Yan na yung titingnan nila. To the point na, sharing ko lang din, bro. Sa mga recent clients ko, when I started creating content, they never asked for my portfolio anymore. I'm not saying you should not create your portfolio, Build your portfolio, yes. Pero what I'm saying is, when you are active on social media, creating content, helping them out, teaching people, these potential clients will trust you.
Yeah, nagbabago. And consumer behavior change, nagbabago. Pero yung mga client behavior, kung paano sila kumuha ng mga tamang agency or someone na mag-handle ng ads nila, nagre-research. Parang i-check ka kasi ang portfolio, sabihin natin sa hindi, pwedeng madaya. Yun talaga parang living testimonials mo na okay, so ano mo yung ginagawa mo.
Meron din isang natutunan ko to kay LJ Jose. So shout out to LJ Jose. Isa din sa mga creators natin about Facebook ads. Meron siyang agency. Natutunan ko sa kanya isang live webinar din sa community namin. Sabi niya, yung ginawa daw niya when he was starting out, nag-run siya ng ads for himself. So, dalawa yun. You're gaining experience kasi syempre you're setting up the ads by yourself. Another one is you're building awareness. Kasi yung sarili mo yung ina-ads mo. So that's one. I mean, I'm not saying na lahat gawin natin yun. Siguro kung may extra money kayo, pwede nyo gawin yun sa ads. Pero what I'm saying is, yung act na ginagawa mo yung ads properly, take a video, screen record, post it online, teach people how to do it. That's how you build quickly trust. Diba? Yun yung sa akin, yung sa looking for clients. Again, there are many ways. Pag-aralan nyo yung inbound tsaka outbound approaches. Hindi lang naman to helpful sa inyo eh. Also, this will be helpful to your client. Especially, yung tinuturo mo din bro, nakita ko din yung content mo about this yung sales funnel. Alamin nyo yan. That's very, very important. Okay? Doon yan papasok yung inbound and outbound.
After ng looking, what is next?
Next is closing. So, dito na papasok yung, syempre, you need to talk with the potential client. No? So, dito napapasok yung tinatawag nating discovery call. Wherein, yung main point ko dito is, actually, yung discovery call po is not pitching. The purpose is not to close, actually. Our main goal is to diagnose.
So, para kang doktor. Yes.
You need to diagnose kung ano yung problema ni client. 'Di ba? Kasi hindi naman lahat ng sasabihin, mababa yung sales ko. Hindi naman parating agad-agad sasabihin mo, solution mo dyan, Facebook ads. 'Di ba? Hindi naman ganun eh. So, you need to diagnose. And syempre, kailangan mo ding alamin, pasok ba or are you fit to work with each other? 'Di ba? Syempre, aalamin mo din dyan sa discovery call. Or maybe before the discovery call, alamin mo kung magkano ba yung budget nila. Pasok ba dun sa Facebook ads? Baka siguro naman, kung sasabihin lang na 1,000 pesos lang yung budget nila sa isang buwan, bagay ba na mag-Facebook ads sila? Oo, di ba? So, may sa discovery call na yan yung common mistake eh. Akala nila yung discovery call is pitching. Hindi. It's not supposed to pitch your services. It's where you talk with your client, with the potential client, and then help them find the solution. And it's not necessary na ikaw yung solusyon. Pwedeng hindi ikaw yung solusyon.
Pwedeng ikaw yung magre-recommend. Like, client A, eto, bilhin mo yung gamot na to. Client B, eto yung reseta mo, bilhin mo to.
Tor talaga, di ba? Doon sa simula. Yes, exactly. Tsaka, syempre, another mindset setting dyan is, again, remind yourself, you're a freelancer. It's not an interview, it's not a job interview. Diba? So, pantay kayong dalawa ni client. That's why, best practice ko dyan is you need to learn the art of questioning. Diba? Dyan, magtatanong ka ng mga questions na somehow will lead the client to answer based on kung ano yung mga gusto mong sagot. Diba? For example, tatanungin mo kung, say nga, magkano yung profit mo, magkano yung, kasi doon mo ma-determine kung talagang meron bang budget si client eh, di ba? At saka kung magiging worth it ba sa kanya kung mag-run siya ng ads. That's why you need to know these numbers din, di ba? That's one of the best practices din. Alamin mo yung mga business metrics, yung mga ROI, profit, lifetime value, average order value, ganong bagay.
Kahit average, customers per month or daily.
Tsaka yung goal niya. Alamin mo, yung goal niya.
End results na gusto niyo makuha.
Exactly. Yung goal, alamin mo.
Okay na tayo sa looking?
Yes. Actually, meron pa yung closing pero hindi na natin i-detail, no? After discovery call, supposedly merong proposal. Pero actually, I am a big fan of not sending a proposal. Bakit? Kasi gusto kong i-close yung client sa discovery call pa lang. Okay? Ano ba yung ibig sabihin nun? Gusto ko mag-agree kami with the price point sa discovery call pa lang without making that, sorry for the word, pero without making the document. Kasi it's really time-consuming, bro, to make the...
Binibigyan mo ng chance si client na mag-isip pa kung kukuhanin yung services mo or hindi.
And yung pinaka-common na tendency is, actually, sasabihin lang yan, okay, sige, send me a proposal. Pero hindi pala kayo nag-agree with the price point. So, hindi ka na babalikan. Anong ginawa mo? Gumawa ka ng proposal, ilang pages, pero hindi na pinansin. Right? So, that's why you need to agree first with the price point. Kahit range lang. Diba? There. And then, siguro, it's your choice na. Or maybe the client would say na, sige, gusto ko pa rin ng proposal para merong mga tiers. Diba? Pwedeng ganun eh. Kung ano yung, sige, ano yung general na plan mo based on our conversation. So, pwede yung proposal. Again, it's just optional. Tapos next, syempre, huwag niyong kalimutan yung kontrata. It's very important, no? Before, that's part of closing for me. Kasi, it's not entirely closed kung hindi pa kayo nagpirmahan na talagang close at magbabayad talaga sila.
Paano mo siya ginagawa, yung sending contract sa client?
Honestly, online siya. Online ko siya ginagawa ngayon. E-sign. Tapos, hindi ko pa siya ina-apply honestly, pero ito yung natutunan ko recently. Shinare ko naman na din to sa'yo. So, have the document notarized by public attorney. Yan yung optional naman. Oo. Pero, it will give you more.
Kung lumalaki na yung ino-offer mo.
Yes, exactly. Lalo na if it involves talaga mas mataas na money. No? It's very important for that to be notarized din. Again, pero kung for starters, it's just fine. I mean, it's still legal naman na magpermahan kayo dyan eh. It's still legal. Tapos, syempre, dun sa kontrata na yon, it's very important, yung laman, you set the boundaries and rules. Diba? Ano yung sinasabi dyan? Better to state it than to just assume it. So, i-state mo dyan, for example, anong oras lang pwedeng mag-chat si client, diba? Say, yung rules, dapat ba, anong petsa ng buwan kailangan mag-send si client ng payment, at kung hindi siya makaka-send ng payment by that date, anong magiging consequence, make it clear. Again, you're a third-party contractor, hindi ka empleyado. So, you have the power to do that as a freelancer, diba? Then, syempre, for the invoice din, for the paying, ako, recommended ko to, you need to ask for the 50% before starting with the service. So, dati, I was just confident na, okay kaming dalawa, nag-assume din ako dati, bro, eh. Iniwan ako sa ere, bro. After just setting up the business account, wala nang sumunod. So, that's why it's better to start with that. For your own security din.
At least 50%.
Yes, yun yung sa akin. Siguro, tapos, another one, if you're, syempre, pwede mo ding ilagay sa contract kung very confident ka na, you can offer guarantees. But for starters, it's very, very, difficult. Tapos, risky din siya. Baka magsayang ka lang din ng oras helping that client. Pero, ayun, hindi ka pa naman din sure eh. I mean, you can do that, pero it takes time. Wag mo namang badali. It takes time. Everything has a process. Okay? After that, serving na tayo. Actually, wala naman ako masyadong madaming sasabihin sa serving clients. It's more of best practices, make an unforgettable onboarding experience. So, paano ba to? Make sure na yung onboarding it will really ask what lahat ng information na kailangan mo para makapag-run ng ads. Okay? So, yun yung onboarding. Tapos, huwag kalimutan, kahit client mo na siya, mag-set up ka ng ads, huwag kalimutan to always be approachable. Tapos, kung online man yan, sana at least mag-meet kayo monthly. It's very important na meron monthly or kaya mo nga weekly o kahit virtual lang. Pwede yun. Kasi para ma-align din si client kung ano yung mga nangyayari na sa ads niya. So, yun lang naman bro. LCS. Look, close, serve. Tapos, again, while you're serving, you also need to do some efforts dun sa first step, which is looking still. Kasi wala namang forever na client. Yeah.
So, kumbaga yun lang yung susundan nilang pwede natin tawagin na method or a framework. Anong tawag mo dyan bro sa LCS?
Wala lang. Actually, general lang to eh. Yeah, LCS. Parang freelancing yung ginamit ko na pangalan lang. Kasi actually, hindi lang naman to nag-a-apply sa media buying eh. Actually, it can apply to any kind of service sa freelancing. Diba? Kaya freelancing yung pinangalan ko lang sa kanya na framework. So, yeah, you can try this. Even though, website editor or like app developer, try this if you're freelancing.
Tama. Kahit video editor ka or mga services ang ino-offer mo. Hopefully guys, so yun, nakakuha kayo ng sobrang daming value and insights kung paano nyo sisimulan yung journey nyo as sa media buyer. Okay? So, okay na maging aspiring, pero sa akin kasi, ang Tagalog para sa aspiring, research ko, yung sobrang babaw is parang nagnanasa ka na maging ganito. So, siguro, i-ano mo na sa sarili mo na I am a media buyer. So, parang mindset din eh. Kapag i-claim mo na I am a media buyer, not aspiring, parang nangangarap ka lang, nagnanasa ka lang na maging media buyer someday. So, wag someday, siguro today, media buyer na ako. And kapag nag-decide ka today na maging media buyer, doon na mangyayari yung lahat. Doon mo na gagawin, i-implement yung pagsiserve, doon mo na implement yung pag-educate, doon mo na implement yung paghahanap ng client. So, lahat ng dapat mong gawin at i-implement, magsisimula dahil nag-decide ka. So, brother, thank you so much for this podcast. Ang dami ko natutunan and ganoon din yung community natin. And if you have anything questions, pwede kayong mag-comment sa ibaba ng video na to. Or directly, pwede nyo i-follow sa TikTok, sa YouTube. Anong TikTok, YouTube mo, brother?
John Cornwell lang. JOHNCORNWILL.
Yan, ilalagay din natin sa description or sa comment section yung channel niya para makapag-follow kayo, makapag-subscribe kayo sa kanya and makakuha pa kayo ng value. And may community ka din, brother, kanina.
Yes, it's Ad Society. as in and then society. A&D,
Ay,
society.
Facebook group ba yan?
Yes, it's a Facebook group.
Ilan yung members ng group mo na yan?
10,000, kaka 10,000 lang this month.
10,000. So, 10,000 aspiring media buyer.
Also business owners.
May mga business owners din doon. Nice.
Nagsishare lang din ng mga best practices doon.
Ibig sabihin, ang dami. Kasi ako, may mga group din ako na ginoin na iba't ibang ads group. Meron pang isang group akong nakita na more than 50 to 100K.
Ang daming community na pwede mong salihan. There's no more excuses. Again, there are so many resources to start para sa mga gustong mag-start. Katulad ng sinabi ni Jay, instead of just saying na aspiring ka, try to do it. Kasi hindi mo fully matututunan kung hindi mo i-execute. So, execute, apply what you're learning. Yan yung parating kong sinasabi. Hindi sapat na nanonood ka ng tutorial. Kung may cellphone ka, may laptop ka, panoorin mo yung tutorial sa cellphone, gawin mo sa laptop yung paggawa ng Ads Manager. There are many ways for you to learn. And the best way is for you to, number 1, execute. Gawin mo mismo ng ikaw. Pangalawa, you also teach it to others. So, ginagawa namin to because we also want to encourage you na ituro mo din sa iba. So, many more businesses will flourish, mag-grow pa, diba? And alam niyo naman, ang daming benefits kung maraming businesses yung nag-grow, especially sa bansa natin, diba?
Tayo na yung next Singapore. Not Sunday. Claim it natin yan.
Hoping for more collab contents with you.
Thank you so much again for watching this video and magkita-kita tayo sa next podcast natin dito sa ating community.